Because of the ice storm, everyone is staying at home. Catherine, there will be no Christmas supper. Be careful. My mother texted me. I was disappointed when I looked at my phone. But I realized that winters in Nashville may be hazardous. I had no idea at the time how one straightforward text would expose years of familial dishonesty and permanently alter my life. I'm 32 years old, and my name is Catherine. Until last Christmas, I believed that my profession as an accountant made me stand out among my family members. The reserved, work-oriented sibling who didn't quite blend in with their boisterous social events. According to our parents, my younger sister Anna was the star and could do no wrong. I took a seat for a peaceful day by myself that Christmas morning. Despite the loneliness, I tried to remain optimistic, prepared myself some hot chocolate, and watched some holiday films. Around 3 p.m., I was browsing Instagram when something unexpected happened. My cousin Nina had posted something new. We were very fortunate to have everyone there for the ideal family Christmas at Anna's. The picture depicts Christmas supper and family customs. The picture showed my mother, father, aunts, uncles, cousins, and even my grandmother seated around Anna's exquisite dining table. They were all wearing colorful sweaters, grinning, and obviously enjoying the party that they had purposefully kept me out of. In their pictures, I could see a lovely, clean sky through the windows. An ice storm did not occur. Never had there been. As I looked at more pictures, my hands began to shake. My mom was setting out her famous Christmas cookies. My dad was chopping the turkey. And my young nieces and nephews were opening gifts. They made up the whole ice storm excuse to avoid telling me that they didn't want me at their ideal family get-together. The realization struck me profoundly. All the private parties I wasn't invited to and the times they cancelled events. In fact, how many of them had occurred without me? For what length of time had they been plotting to keep me out while feigning concern? My phone rang the next morning. My mother was there, pretending nothing had occurred. "Hello, sweetheart. I hope you enjoyed a peaceful Christmas. We missed you." My palms clenched into fists at the casual brutality of her comments. Though I was unaware of it at the time, this was the point at which everything would change. I always strived to be the best daughter as I was growing up in our family's house. I kept straight A's in school, assisted my mom with household tasks, and even gave up my desire to go to art school to study accounting since my parents said it was more realistic. Anna, my sister, was free to do as she pleased in the interim. My parents referred to her as daring when she left college to pursue a career as a yoga instructor. They seldom recognized that I put in extra hours to assist them in paying off their mortgage. I can recall a specific instance that ought to have made me realize things sooner. I took 3 weeks off work 3 years ago to assist in taking care of my dad when he required surgery. I took care of his medicine, cooked, cleaned, and transported him to appointments. Once Anna arrived, she remained for an hour to take social media pictures with him and then left, saying she was at a yoga retreat. In my parents' account of that period, however, Anna was the helpful daughter, and I was only doing the absolute minimum. It wasn't any better with my extended relatives. My aunts would compliment Anna's free energy at every get-together and ask me when I would relax and learn to love life. While Anna's recent experience teaching yoga in Bali was the topic of conversation at every family meal, my professional achievements were written off as uninteresting. Family was family. They loved me in their own way, and I kept convincing myself that it didn't matter. My mom told everyone that Anna had done all the work while I merely sat about, even though I had spent hours helping her get ready for Thanksgiving last month. As usual, I suppressed my hurt and said nothing. I volunteered to assist with the preparation and cooking when Anna revealed that she would be hosting Christmas this year. She dismissed me, stating that she wanted it to be flawless. I should have recognized the warning signs back then, but I was still making a lot of effort to believe in the myth of our contented family. In reality, I've lived my whole life attempting to gain their acceptance, justifying their actions, and acting as though I didn't notice when they kept me out of unplanned family get-togethers that everyone else somehow knew about. I persuaded myself that if I just put in more effort, worked longer hours, and contributed more, they would eventually consider me deserving of being included in their ideal family photo. "We missed you, honey," I hope you had a peaceful Christmas. My gut turned at my mother's phony smile. I tightened my hold on my phone as I gazed at the Instagram pictures that were still visible on my laptop. Proof of their idyllic family get-together, from which I had been purposefully left out. I really did manage to maintain a steady voice. Nina's social media posts indicated that everyone, except for me, had a great time at Anna's place. The silence on the other end was overwhelming. My mother's face, that well-known look when she has been caught in a lie and is already making explanations, was practically visible to me. Well, what? She stumbled. You know how you can be at events. Always being so silent and making everyone uncomfortable. And Anna planned it at the last minute. We simply thought. What did you think? I pushed. Wouldn't it be preferable to lie to me? Should I be forced to spend Christmas alone while pretending that everyone else is doing the same? Mom said, don't be so dramatic. We wanted to stay out of any embarrassing situations. You were aware of Anna's need for perfection. It dawned on me then. Every previously cancelled event, plans for the moment had inexplicably failed. I would subsequently see the family pictures on social media. This was a pattern rather than an isolated incident. With my voice barely audible, I inquired, how many times has this happened? How many more get-togethers have you misled me about? Let's have one more revealing quiet moment. Then you're being too sensitive. Catherine, that's precisely why. What is the reason? I interrupted her. Why do you not include me? Unless you need anything. Why do you act as though I don't exist? Why do you treat me like an inconvenience? While Anna gets to be the perfect daughter? My mother objected, saying that was unfair. We love you both equally. It's just, Anna works hard to fit in with the family. You're constantly very busy at work. I gave a sour laugh. Are you occupied at work? You mean that you're too busy to help pay your mortgage? Taking care of Dad following his operation has kept you busy. That busy? My mother's voice became harsh. Listen, perhaps we should give each other some space if you're going to act in this manner. When you're prepared to be reasonable, give me a call. The line died. As I sat there looking at my phone, 32 years worth of memories came abruptly and painfully into clear focus. All of the justifications, rejections, and miscommunications had been deliberate. The issue was not with me. I had never been. I stopped trying to justify them at that point. The instant I realized the truth, there was no family for me. Although they regarded me like an afterthought, I had folks who shared my DNA. Something broke inside me after that phone call. I was worn out of being the doormat for the family. I launched my laptop and began sending my whole family an email. The group included aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, and a sister. They were all present at that Christmas dinner. Years' worth of suppressed emotions spilled forth as my fingers slid across the keyboard. I wrote, I've seen the pictures from Christmas dinner. Someone informed me that the cancellation of the meal was due to a fictitious ice storm. I want everyone to be fully aware of what they have done. You didn't simply exclude me from a family gathering to have me spend Christmas alone. You planned a complex falsehood. Along with the social media pictures of their party, I've included screenshots of my mom staying at home, everyone else doing the same, and text conversations. Before I could second-guess myself, I pushed send. Responses began pouring in almost instantly. According to my Aunt Marie, they neglected to inform me that the plans had altered. I was overreacting, Uncle Robert said. After my cousin Nina's tweets revealed their deception, she promptly removed all of the Christmas pictures and messaged me to claim I was creating needless trouble. And then Anna's answer. I received a lengthy, patronizing email in which she expressed her desire for a single ideal Christmas and criticized me for never trying at family gatherings. She even boldly asserted that my obvious dislike for family get-togethers warrants my personal exclusion. However, my parents' response was what really revealed their personalities to me. Instead of offering an apology, they launched a fierce attack. My mother began phoning acquaintances from our shared family, making up a tale about my having a breakdown. I received a severe email from my father on the importance of protecting family privacy and the unacceptableness of sharing our private problems. Anna texted me, "You've really done it now. Everyone is unhappy. Mom is sobbing. And it's all because you couldn't accept that you could be the issue. We didn't want you at Christmas for precisely this reason. I had the impression that I was in another universe. They had lied to me and purposefully excluded me. Yet I was somehow the bad guy for pointing out their wrongdoing. They distorted the story more the more I defended myself. They intensified when I refused to apologize and back down. My mother started making noise in the foyer when she showed up at my job without warning. Anna started sharing ambiguous posts on social media about choosing peace above family and harmful individuals. If I didn't comply, my father threatened to remove me from his will. Their acts just served to validate what I had finally recognized. Rather than to intimidate me, this was not an affectionate family shielding themselves from a challenging member. When someone eventually quit following their rules, this poisonous system was frantically attempting to keep control over them. At that moment, I made the decision that I had to do more than simply reveal their falsehoods. It was time for me to fully escape their control. They had no idea that I was already formulating a scheme to demonstrate to them what happens when you ignore the person who has always supported you. Rachel, an old family friend who had retired from handling my parents' money years prior, sent me an unexpected reply a week after I sent my combative email. I've been following your family's activities on social media. Catherine, something is important for you to know. Is it possible for us to meet? I consented to meet her in a peaceful downtown cafe. Rachel was holding a manila package and appeared anxious when I got there. She passed the envelope over the table and added, "I've been carrying the guilt of this for years. I can't keep silent any longer after witnessing how they're treating you today. Even if your father swore me to secrecy." The package included 15 years' worth of court records and bank statements. My hands started to shake as I read them. These documents show that my grandpa had given me a sizable legacy of around $300, money I was unaware of, intended especially for my education and future. Rachel said gently that the trustee was your father. He should have given you access when you turned 25. Rather, he moved everything to Anna's accounts, where she used money to finance her failing business endeavors and lifestyle. The realization struck me like a punch to the body. I still owe money on my college loans. The years I put in extra hours to pay for my accounting degree. And the times I assisted them with their mortgage. The entire time, they had been hoarding my inheritance and using it to buy Anna. And there's more, Rachel added. Additionally, your grandpa gave you and Anna possessions that were supposed to be divided evenly. Your parents sold all of these assets. When you were 18, they had you sign your power of attorney. Do you remember that it was used to make medical decisions in an emergency? I was ill. They had total authority over my financial interests thanks to the contract I had obediently signed. As they saw me struggle, took my assistance with their costs, and made me feel bad for not doing more for the family. They had methodically stolen my fortune. To make matters worse, the papers revealed frequent transfers to Anna that were identified as company investments. These funds were stolen from my inheritance to support Anna's yoga businesses, her Bali retreats, and all of her adventures, for which they had lauded her while disparaging my dull accounting profession. Why inform me now? With a scarcely calm voice, I asked Rachel. Your mother's social media posts portray you as unstable and unappreciative. Before you can learn the facts, they are attempting to discredit you. Catherine, they have been stealing from you for years. In addition to being immoral, what they have done is against the law. Everything suddenly made terrible sense. After stealing my wealth, they threatened to remove me from the will and made more desperate attempts to portray me as irrational. They were trying to keep up the story that I was the challenging sibling and Anna was the successful one. With my mind racing, I gently repacked the paperwork inside the envelope. I'm grateful, Rachel. Now I know exactly what I must do. This was no longer simply about a Christmas gone wrong. This involved years of deliberate thievery and deceit. And I was in a unique position to hold them accountable since I am an accountant with years of expertise investigating financial wrongdoing. After obtaining Rachel's paperwork, I painstakingly constructed my case over the course of the next week. As an accountant, I was well versed in tracking the money trail. Every fake paper, every improperly utilized power of attorney, and every unapproved transfer. I kept track of everything. I also had everything reviewed by Sarah Chen, an inheritance fraud lawyer. Sarah affirmed that this is an obvious instance of financial exploitation. If you choose to go that route, we can file criminal charges. I carefully weighed my alternatives. A criminal prosecution would damage my family's reputation. But our relationship had already suffered. I nonetheless decided to give them one final opportunity to put things right. I sent Anna and my dad an email asking for a family meeting to work out our disagreements. They seized the opportunity, presumably hoping to coerce me back into line. We decided to get together the next Saturday at my flat. I placed 3 folders, one for each of them, on my dining table the morning of the meeting. Each folder had a letter from my lawyer explaining their alternatives as well as a comprehensive record of their scam. Either sign a confession and return all outstanding monies to me, or else you will be charged with a crime. They showed up cocky, obviously expecting me to say I was sorry. My mom got right in. "We're so happy you've woken up, Catherine." I slid the folders over the table and interrupted her. "I recommend reading them before anyone speaks again." As my father studied the papers, the color faded from his cheeks. Anna began to shake her hands. My mom made an effort to keep everything under control. "This is absurd. Are you attempting to extort members of your own family? Blackmail?" I chuckled icily. "No, I'm offering you an option. I'll let the cops handle it. Or you return my inheritance with interest and confess what you did." "Rachel has consented to testify previously," my father began. "Rachel had no right." I interrupted you. "You had no right to do so. You watched me suffer for years while stealing from me. You sold property that was legally mine by using my power of attorney. You used my fortune to pay for Anna's lifestyle." Anna started crying. "I was unaware. Someone told me the funds came from their savings." "Don't lie," I said coolly. "Your accounts received the transfers immediately. You were well aware of what you were doing." My mom tried something new. "Consider the impact this will have on the family. What are people going to say?" I said. "You ought to have considered that before robbing your own daughter of hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have 48 hours to make up your mind. I'm going to the cops until you sign the confession and set up the transfers." My father virtually dragged my frantic mother and sister out the door as they fled in a panic. Relatives sent messages to the family group chat in a matter of hours, each stating their position. But I didn't panic. I had the facts and proof on my side. That night, I called Sarah and informed her that the decision was now in their hands. However, I have a feeling they won't make the best decision. I was prepared for everything that may happen. Freedom from their influence was, after all, the greatest gift they had already given me. The 48-hour deadline passed. My family chose pride above honesty. As I had anticipated, neither did they set up any transfers or sign the confession. Rather, they attempted to erase evidence by destroying papers, canceling accounts, and even trying to coerce Rachel into taking back her statement. They were unaware that I had already turned everything into the police. I formally filed charges the morning following the deadline. By the afternoon, police officers with search warrants began knocking on their homes. As the narrative developed, I observed from my office. The police handcuffed and led my father out of his place of employment. Since Anna's yoga studio was acquired with stolen money, it was confiscated. My mother's meticulously maintained social media persona collapsed when she was detained at a charity committee meeting. Once more, but in a different tone, the family group chat erupted. As soon as the proof was made public, relatives who had previously denied my assertions became silent. The local press covered the prestigious family's downfall. One day brought an end to the years they had spent maintaining their impeccable appearance. Rachel texted me, and my phone buzzed. "You made the correct decision. Your granddad would be pleased." She was correct. This was no longer about retaliation. Justice was at issue. I felt a sense of relief rather than delight as I witnessed the carefully constructed lies of my family crumble. I was at last free. And the truth was out. After a year, I was sitting in my new Denver house and watching the snow fall outside my window. Months have passed since the court case ended. Both my mother and father accepted plea bargains and agreed to make amends. After her yoga business failed, Anna was able to secure a legitimate position as a receptionist. They had lost the ideal family image they had fought so hard to preserve. The majority of the family members who had supported their actions for years ceased communicating with me. Surprisingly enough, though, I didn't miss them. Rather, I had created a new network of support. My network of support included coworkers who valued my work ethic, sincere friends who valued honesty above appearances, and even a few distant cousins who apologized for their previous actions. Last week, Rachel paid me a visit. She showed me an old photo book she had discovered while organizing her workspace over coffee. There were photos of myself and my grandfather from times I had all but forgotten. In one picture, he was teaching me how to fish, and we were both laughing about something we had long since forgotten. Rachel informed me that he always stated that you were the stronger one. He was aware of their preference for Anna, but he thought you would triumph. I softly caressed the picture, recalling his warm grin. Though it had taken years, his last gift had eventually given me something more significant than money: the bravery to stand up for myself and the freedom to create a life on my own terms. He had attempted to safeguard my future with that legacy. Getting even isn't always the greatest form of retaliation. The goal is freedom.